living with dementia is like a bad dream. If you've ever had a bad dream where you dream that you're at school and you have to sit an exam and you haven't prepared, and you get that terrible grip in your stomach, like, how could this have happened? And sometimes you wake up in the morning and that's how it feels, because you're like, who am I? Where am I? You have to reorientate all over again every day. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. Who am I today? What am I today? Where am I today? I was diagnosed with dementia just over 10 years ago. I was working for APRA, it's the finance regulator. I was really successful, really happy with my work. I just couldn't manage a meeting, and I was forgetting people's names. I was forgetting these things like keeping up with the kids' schedules and picking them up. And it became a real difficulty for the family because on the surface it looked like I didn't care. Nobody really wants to be thinking they have dementia when they're in their 40s. Firstly, I saw a GP. Mostly they thought I had perimenopause, and that went on for a while. Then they thought maybe it was depression, so we followed that for a couple of years. It was really frustrating because everyone seemed to see me as a middle-aged, disappointed woman who was maybe frustrated with her life or depressed. It was really difficult because I started to doubt my own sanity. Ultimately, I was able to find a doctor who was associated with my workplace who knew me before these symptoms had started. So we were able to actually have something on paper that showed the deterioration in my function. And that was ultimately what was key to having a diagnosis. I suppose the first thing you lose is, I guess, your self-esteem, because these days we wrap up our self-esteem with our work, how well we live, what we drive. You hand over your decision-making, you hand over pretty much your autonomy. Then you have helpful people who want to come in and swoop and do things for you. So you actually end up over a period of time with no responsibilities, with nothing to do. And so that makes you think, well, who am I? Why am I even here if I don't even have to put the trash out? What I guess you've got to realize from the outside is that all of this is internal. It's internal pain. You're just so vulnerable that it makes you, I guess, want to be a hermit and stay somewhere safe. So when you see a person with dementia who's sitting, you assume it's empty, that there's nothing going on, but there's a lot going on. You're tired, your brain is scrambled, and sometimes it's kinder to let a person just sit and be kind. Your brain is a bit broken, and there's a disconnect between what you feel and what you express. It can come out as anger, frustration, short temper. I might throw something. But I'm not angry with people. I'm angry with me. It's actually repulsive to live with your brain not functioning properly. definitely in terms of feeling and emotion, there's a lot of grief, and they're almost exclusively negative emotions. Probably the most common would be self-disgust. In my mind, I see it as a bit like Swiss cheese, with all the little holes and things. And I suppose the philosophy I have to keep going is I try and live between the holes and try and make new little pathways by doing different and unusual things. I know we can build brain, but I know that on the other side, it's being eaten. Physical pain is probably the most logical reason that someone's upset and angry, or they're unwell, otherwise unwell. I had fallen off the horse and I was in a lot of pain, a back injury, and I was laying in the emergency room on the bed, and I had asked for some pain relief. It was really difficult for me to stay okay inside my head. So I'm laying there waiting for the pain medication when suddenly the bed moved and I wasn't lying down anymore. I was pushed up to a seated position, which was really painful. But I didn't have the ability anymore to breathe it out and calmly say to someone, would you mind not, politely saying, please don't move the bed without letting me know. So I screamed, shouted, and It was an expression of pain. The nurse who had come up behind me and shifted the bed to the seated position went to the end of the bed to all of the students who were there and described me as someone with the behaviours of dementia who were aggressive, and that this was a thing and it was nothing to be afraid of, but it was normal for people with dementia to be aggressive and to shout a lot. And myself and my daughter, who was 16 at the time, were just like, what? And it was a big learning thing for me, but it was also a really disappointing, demoralizing time to be feeling so low physically and to be, I guess, named and shamed and used as an example of something that I thought was so detrimental to someone's humanity, really. I think with the best intention in the world, the emergency room doctor thought it might be a good idea to give me something that would make me more calm. So along with the pain medication was some kind of calming thing. But no one told me because I had dementia. If someone is behaving or expressing something that's not to your social expectations or to your taste, medication is probably the most cruel thing that you can do to that person. It makes you feel more frightened because if your mind is scrambled and it feels like there's a flock of seagulls going around your head, and all of a sudden someone is saying, well, here, let's put some more seagulls on. Let's make you more confused. Like, who is this helping? It's not helping us. You could be kind and compassionate and try to think, what might that pain be that person is expressing? Is it physical? Is it emotional? How can we help them to maybe come to some peace with themselves? Let's look at some other ways. I guess to try and stay well, and with this theory of trying to live between the holes and I guess finding new ways to do old things. I'm still deteriorating, but not at the rate that would have been expected. Living with dementia is like, it's like going to your sock drawer and you open it and there's no socks, it's empty. That sort of confusion, puzzlement, like what? There's empty space in here, you got nothing, you're just like, and it's quite confronting. The best thing you can really be around me is patient, because I have no control over this. I guess my main message is we are all humans inside of here. What you see on the outside doesn't, in fact, rarely reflects what's going on in the inside. And almost always you'll find if there's a ridiculous amount of hostility or angry or aggression behavior, it's something going on within that person themselves. And if you're a medical profession, that's kind of your job to help us figure it out from the clues. We can only give clues. We can't talk forever. Sometimes we can't talk at all. Just please be patient and look for clues.